Hello and welcome to another episode of the Sylvester Stallone Podcast Network show. I am your host, Ryan, and with me, as always, and it shall always be this way, Mr. Craig and Mr. Doug. I'll just say, first and foremost, guys, I truly miss you. I can't believe it's already been like 4 months or whatever since we covered, what was it again?
Armor.
Has it been that long?
It feels longer, in all honesty, because I've never wanted to think about that movie again. Mm-hmm. But it's been long enough that me and Doug have both had a birthday since then, Ryan. So you're the odd man out here. You're not part of the birthday club.
That's not right. Yet. Not yet.
You're older.
Yeah,
you're wiser.
I don't know if we're wiser. Yeah, my big birthday's coming up in October, and I hope we record again before October, of course. But we are actually covering Sylvester Stallone's latest action movie. Can you believe, guys? This is released in 2025. We are doing current films. This is a 2025 film. This is amazing, and we're in 2025 because Armor was 24, I believe.
If you say so. I mean,
he's still putting out bangers, right?
Yeah.
The one thing that gets me through most of these films is the glory of knowing that I'm just going to talk to you guys after it. That's all of the fun for me. Okay.
Full honesty here. Okay. And I'm probably going to feel like I'm ribbit on people, but who is going out of their way to watch these Stallone movies? Are there people that are like buying this day one?
Oh, yeah. You got to figure there's somebody. And we actually run a Stallone podcast, and we're only watching this film, I think, because of the podcast. Would you be watching this film if you didn't have a podcast show?
No, this would be one of those films if you're up Saturday night at 2 a.m. and you can't sleep and you go on Netflix in 2012, before Netflix really had a lot of great movies. Mm-hmm. And this would probably be one you'd be like, oh, that looks like it might be able to help occupy my time while I have insomnia.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And I'll say this, not as bad as Armor.
Oh, Doug, that's the first thing that it shocked the hell out of me. Mm-hmm. I'm like, it's a movie. It's full of action. There's plenty of action in this movie.
It had a beginning, a middle, and an end.
Yeah, but it's all completely pointless. And I was trying to figure out, I'm like, if you slap like Expendables side mission on this movie, what makes it different than an Expendables movie? Because there were elements missing, because it just felt like this was like a nothing movie. Which isn't to say that it wasn't entertaining and it didn't occupy my time for 90 minutes. But at the same time, it's not just the fact that it's a non-Sly franchise movie. If you did put this out as like Expendable side mission, it's still not that level of quality, even though Expendables 4 was fucking terrible.
Right.
And I don't know what the missing ingredient is.
Information is the missing ingredient. Mm. The story was incomplete. And obviously they left the door open for a sequel, which God help them if they do.
We'll be there.
There's too many agencies involved. I didn't even know that black guy was named Orland until like right before he got killed.
Oh,
you know.
Spoiler for Alarum. Ryan, that's one of your guys too. Aren't you a big fan of the show he's on?
He is on Luke Cage, and
I thought he was on that show Evil. Didn't you say you watched that show?
Yeah, I did, and I really like that show.
Did you know it was him? As I watched it, I'm like, oh, that's the guy from the show Ryan likes.
It threw me off at first because of his accent. He does a French accent or whatever, but I'm pretty sure that's the dude from Evil and Luke Cage. So he actually is genuinely a good actor, but of course, as always, when given a good script and good direction.
I will say that this guy was an Expendables level villain, because as the Expendable movies goes on, it got more and more twirly mustachy, and he did some twirly mustachy moments in this movie.
Yeah, so his name for the record is Mike Coulter.
Yeah,
he did pretty good. I think he was probably having fun. You know, like he was having fun with the role. You could almost tell he knew that this was a straight-to-video type movie. Okay, so here's the problem with this movie. You were right. It's better than Armor.
By huge margins, which I don't know if that's a plus for this movie or just really showcases how bad those other movies are.
It's both. And that's what I'm trying to get at, is that the problem with this movie is that it's not Backtrace or Armor bad. It almost feels like it's trying to be. That's where it fails. Like I feel like it's all. Oh wait, are we watching a movie? Is this trying? is this like not a money laundering film? This might be a real film.
Hold on, can I read the featured review on IMDb?
Please.
Dreadful film, terrible script, editing, and what's worse, a waste of two otherwise fine actors in Eastwood and Stallone. Would a director's cut save it? I doubt it, unless it was a complete reshoot. What a shame.
Director's cut.
Special effects are dreadful. Storyline, which it claims to have, is full of holes, and Scott's acting was terrible. I actually thought he wasn't the worst thing in this film.
He was fine. If you're putting together a list of problems with this movie, he's at the bottom of the list. But you can also see why the guy's not a huge superstar either.
You did mention the director's cut in that review, and I looked up this director to see if he was one of those money laundering directors.
No, he's got like a legitimate career.
He seems to have sort of a career. You're absolutely
right. Well, he did.
Well, he started off with one of his films called Twin Falls, Idaho, which was highly rated, 76% on critics and 76% with fans. So his first big film was kind of like, a critical darling, as they say. Michael Polish, the director of Alarum, and then Twin Falls, Idaho. It was written probably by his brother, Mark. It's the same last name.
Yeah, I think they get the same Wikipedia page. They don't even get separate Wikipedia pages.
Oh, they're actually they're the Polish brothers, and they're twins.
Okay.
Interesting. So the first film they did together was about twins, but not just any twins, conjoined twins. So it was actually like a serious. Remember that movie with the Farley brothers called Stuck on You or Stuck on Me? What was that one called?
Stuck on You. Yeah.
So this is a serious version of that same movie. Yeah, and again, highly rated Sundance Darling, 80% fresh on Rotten Tomato. So yeah, that was his first film. So hey, can you imagine doing that in 1999? And then 2025, you release Alarum. Like, what a trajectory.
I guess he's still working.
Yeah, you're right. A job's a job. That's just it. I almost feel bad for some of these directors. It's almost like they had this great vision of being something, and then you're right. Now they're just doing fast food movies.
It's the same problem that happens with anybody. Think about your favorite band when their first album comes out and they're young and hungry and they're right out of the garage, and then transpose them 15 years into their career. If you maintain a career in any aspect of entertainment, your work is constantly going to get more and more homogenized in order to continue to pay your bills, unless you're a talent that is so supreme that like you can't be denied.
Yeah. So he had 80% on his first film. Okay. 80% Rotten Tomatoes. Any guesses for the Rotten Tomatoes score for his latest film?
16.
Under 10.
Got to give me a number.
8.
0.
They couldn't find one effing reviewer to say something good about this.
Laugh. I feel like a jerk for going so high.
I think you both enjoyed it a little bit more than me, and I think the problem is we have Armor syndrome. I think that might be part of the problem.
Yeah, I was comparing it to Armor the whole time.
Me too. I remember I looked at my watch at 30 minutes in. I was like, wow, 30 minutes have gone by. I'm like, this movie's kind of cooking. But I would not even put these on the same shelf with this movie with Backtrace and Armor.
Would you rather watch this or Spy Kids 3?
Oh, Spy Kids 3. Okay. All day.
What's another one I could pick? Sorry, that's probably too easy. Okay, this one or Expendables 4?
Probably Expendables 4 just because of the names.
Yeah. Here's the plot, one sentence. 2 spies go rogue so they can get married, but their remote cabin comes under attack from various intelligence agencies, each looking for a stolen hard drive. Okay.
Yeah, that whole synopsis threw me off because it's not a remote cabin. It's like a resort.
Yeah, they say resort.
Yeah, no, and that was the first thing that threw me off. I'm like, oh, this is going to be one of those one set movies.
Yeah, you said that when we read the synopsis of our last episode. No, it's a very public, open resort.
And I think that's what sort of surprised me as well, Ryan, because the synopsis makes you think it's going to be an ultra low budget one set movie, and the synopsis lied.
They spent all their money on locations and they cut corners on the special effects.
You weren't impressed by the drone effects?
Even like the grenade launcher, the grenades shooting through the air. That's terrible.
Okay, yeah. That building was actually untouched. It was old CGI cartoons over top of that building. CGI fire everywhere.
Oh, CGI.
Yeah. Even the blood, every blood hit looked exactly the same. When the 2 pilots get killed in the helicopter, it was like blood splatter. And then it was like identical blood splatter. I was...
In fact, actually watch that scene again. Not only was it horrible green screen or whatever in front of the pilots flying the plane. But the gun that came behind their heads was CGI'd in. It was animated. Did you catch that? It wasn't even real. They didn't even have a guy behind them. How hard is it to get a gun pointed behind someone's head? It was animated. Like it was CGI'd or weird. It was like blue screen over blue screen.
That's hilarious.
Okay, so we know that it was Orland that shot the. Okay, this plot. The pilots were DEA pilots in a plane of sorts, flying over the same resort where Scott Eastwood's character was holed up with his wife. These are the two spies that they're kind of like Mr. and Mrs. Smith at the beginning of the film. That was the whole idea there. That's the first thing I thought of. Mr. and Mrs. Smith. And I guess they were both contracted or enemies at the beginning of the film, but they ended up getting married, falling in love, and now they work together. They're at this resort. She was working on a mark. Do we ever figure out what the mark was for, or why he was a mark?
I almost wonder if it was one of the guy from the couple.
And then I love how the guy's wife gets blown away, and there's just no mention of it to him. Does he ever find out during the film that his wife is dead?
No, that part actually I went, whoa.
Yeah. So Orland, played by Mike Coulter as well. Yeah, he blows away this civilian to show that he means business. Then you're right, Doug. That was one of the we're going there moments. So his wife gets killed on this tour hike that Scott Eastwood goes with her. She stays behind to work with the mark. That's why they got split up. But he never gets the news that his wife is dead. We never see that on screen or anything. Yeah,
saving that for part 2.
Maybe. But what did we figure out why he's a mark? What was the goal for that? Because they wooed this couple. Remember, they did.
So are we all agreeing that he was the target, or what?
Yeah, he was the mark.
Oh, okay.
That's why she stayed behind. That's why she stayed. I'm not gonna go on the hike with you guys.
Him. She stayed behind to protect him.
From who?
The headquarters guys later on were talking about this guy and how he works for a bank that's doing something with money.
Oh,
but what does that have to do with the flash drive that they were looking for?
At the point they went on the hike, there was no danger yet, aside from she checked. Did she check the radio? She went in the bathroom and checked that radio before they were supposed to go on the hike, and there was some message.
Burner phone radio text message.
It's like a walkie-talkie, right?
It was like a Palm Pilot.
Who was she talking to? Okay.
Again, I think, Doug, that might even be movie number 3. If Escape Plan got 3 movies, why not this?
It was very convoluted.
Would you rather watch this movie again or Escape Plan 2 or 3?
This.
So Alarum is some agency that's not connected to any specific government.
That's right.
It's all rogue agents that have the same the same philosophy. They want to disable,
take down the communications or something, or take down the oligarchy. Is that their?
No, basically disable organized covert operations, like the CIA or or MI6 or all that kind of stuff.
That is the name alarm of the film. That's the group that she's a part of, and I guess he joins it too.
The one pilot, supposedly this was a DEA plane, but the one pilot was also part of Alarum because he had the same tattoo as her.
Oh, that's the alarm tattoo.
I didn't know that. I didn't know that either.
I did it. That's right. It was shaped like an A, like a triangle. You're right. Doug, man. Doug's the alarm whisperer. He's got this all for him.
Yeah, I got it all figured out. I watched it at 1.5 times speed too.
I had it up to 2 at one point, Doug. I'm not going to lie. The talking head scenes where the 3 bozos are in the dark room.
Oh, yeah.
I kicked it up to 2.5. Or to 2. I maxed it out.
Oh, that's hilarious. I would think we all did that. Hey, I got a busy life, man. I was
like, I can watch this movie in 70 minutes instead of 90. Absolutely.
Yeah, you killed it. It's funny.
So the plane was taken down by Orland. We find out later that he's the one that shot both pilots in the back, and he said he was the only one with a parachute. Why the other pilots didn't have a parachute for them, I don't know. He jumps out with the parachute off screen. We don't know it's him until later when he reveals that. But the hard drive that he wanted was in the gut of one of the pilots.
Yeah.
Why didn't he just shoot one of the pilots, tell the one that has the hard drive in his gut to safely land the plane somewhere, then kill the guy, sure, and then gut him and take the hard drive and off he goes?
I think they were showing an expert, spook he is.
Why was Orland in the plane shooting those guys? What was his purpose for killing the pilots?
I think he was looking or assumed the drive was there, but he didn't physically see it. He didn't have the depth of knowledge and experience that
So
Scott
why
Eastwood
didn't he
had.
still shoot one of the pilots and have the other one land the plane and interrogate them? Where's the hard drive? Did they pick him up midair? Was he a passenger from the very beginning? Okay.
None of it makes any sense.
Okay, so we'll talk a little bit about the actors that we talked about. Mike Coulter, great actor. He was, despite the plot holes that he was involved in, he wasn't boring to watch in any of the scenes. Like, he's hamming it up. He was self-aware that this is kind of a straight to video, maybe some streaming service, whatever movie. If anyone does watch like us, they're not going to be embarrassed by him. His French accent was okay. Maybe he's from Paris, maybe.
Yeah.
But I love how this guy was, he's a baddie, right? Even the other agencies are afraid of, Orland's here. So yeah, Mike was fine. Mike Coulter was just fine. But below him in the credits was the wife of Scotty. So her name is Isis Valverde. Okay, do you recognize her?
Hold on. Who? What character?
I think it was, that's the wife. My apologies.
Yeah.
That's the wife of the killer.
It was Jenna.
Willa Fitzgerald.
Yeah, Willa Fitzgerald, which you probably know her from Reacher, right?
She was in season 1 of Reacher. It's been a spell since I've seen season 1. I have yet to see season 3, but it's next in our queue. Anyways, she was great in Reacher. I thought she was just fine. Very serviceable actress in a great TV show. But I admit I didn't recognize her from, like, when I was watching. It's like, where's she from? It's one of those. I've seen her. Where's she from?
It's funny. I recognized her on Reacher when we watched Reacher for a show I used to watch called Royal Pains, which was a show here in the States on USA. It was about like a concierge doctor. So we were watching Reacher. When she showed up, I'm like, I fucking know that. And anytime you're watching a show and or a movie and somebody pops up and you know them, it's going to take away your enjoyment of the movie until you figure out who it is. So it's funny when she popped up in this, I was like, oh, it's the girl from Reacher and Royal Pains.
And she's doing good. She was in another show that I saw on Netflix called The Fall of the House of Usher. That was a great little miniseries. I don't know if you saw that one.
No, I did not.
I love those ones. It's actually the guy that does them is pretty good.
It's Mike something.
Yeah,
Flanagan.
Mike Flanagan. Yeah, I like his stuff. I admit he's.
Didn't he do Dr. Sleep too?
Yeah, like he's good at the horror type things. I think he's working on a new version of something. I think he's doing Exorcist. I think he's doing the new Exorcist.
Yeah.
I think
after the last Exorcist that came out and nobody cared about, so they're like, oh, let's do it again. We'll reboot the reboot.
Hey, he did Gerald's Game on Netflix. That was fun. He did Dr. Sleep for TV. He's doing I guess
is he involved with the Dark Tower too?
Just looking at his Wikipedia. Yeah. I don't see it in the upcoming stuff. I'm excited for that. Great show. Okay, so
somebody's remaking Carrie too.
Yeah, Carrie's been done as a TV show as well. An actor that's in it. Who was it that just got hired for that?
Yeah.
Anyways, so she's great. She was fine. However, however.
Oh, hold on. Mike Flanagan is going to be the showrunner for Carrie.
Okay, cool.
And Summer H. Howe is reportedly negotiating for the title role. And Sienna Agudong has been cast as Sue Snell. And they're filming in Vancouver, Ryan,
nice.
In the summer.
Carrie, you said? Carrie?
Yeah.
There was another cast. Who else is in it? A name that I was, they're in it. Just excuse me.
Oh, maybe the mother, whoever the...
Yes.
Is it not Julianne Moore or something like that, is it? She's too big for that.
Oh, boy. Anyways, it'll come later. We're trying
we're waiting for Doug anyway.
Yeah, okay. Who is it? That's driving me crazy.
Television, let's see. Amazon Prime series.
It's going to be 8 episodes only. That's great. So it's going to follow the book probably pretty closely.
Yeah, it only says here Sienna Agudong.
That's probably going to play Carrie.
And she's playing Sue Snell.
Oh.
And then Summer H. Howell is playing Carrie, but they don't say anything about her mother. And I mean,
okay.
And this is on the wiki page.
It's funny. I saw it on my Facebook. I swear it was in the algorithm. Anyways,
it'd have been one of those BS FX pages or AI pages now, where they make like the fake poster. They say coming next year, and it's like the Grinch 3 or whatever, and people fall for it and they get whatever clicks they need.
I like to think I wouldn't fall for this. This one seemed legit. I could be wrong. Okay, so Doug, we're just talking about the actress who played Agent Laura. That was Scott Eastwood's wife. Her name is Willa Fitzgerald. She was lovely, and she's doing very well. She's in another Netflix show in the main role called Pulse. It's a medical drama, so she's doing good work. She's got work, anyways.
I remembered her from the first season of Reacher.
Your IMDb review you read, you mentioned, or the IMDb review mentioned the script. Mm-hmm. And she is responsible for one of the most atrocious lines in the entire movie, where
really?
she's captured at the end, mm-hmm. and the one French guy is shit talking her, and she's like, "I'm one of the most dangerous people in the world."
Oh, yeah.
The delivery was terrible. The line was terrible.
Yeah.
And also, I'm all for smaller women, kicking ass in movies and stuff, but like. Mm-hmm. She stretched the level of credibility for me here, because it just didn't seem like she had put in all of the work needed to, mm-hmm. Like Jessica Biel, you see her kick somebody's ass in a movie, Blade Trinity, you see Jessica Biel kicking ass, you're like,
Charlize Theron and Mad Max.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. But for her, I mean, it is not her fault, I'm sure. I'm sure they didn't have a budget to like really pay for great stunt coordinators and fight choreographers and to give her 6 weeks or whatever to get ready. But it was just so funny when she said that line. I was like, I don't know about that.
Yeah. It wasn't a great delivery.
I agree, totally agree. That was one of my biggest talking points from this film was I'm all for females kicking ass too. Let's just get started with Sigourney Weaver and Aliens. Of course, I have no issues when it makes sense, whatever it is. No issues with women kicking ass. However, I totally agree. I was like, I don't see this with her. She's 90 pounds, maybe 95, and the fight choreography was
yeah. But the other thing, Ryan, is she's supposed to have a history too, as like an assassin or whatever.
Right.
And granted, she's 30 something years old, but she looks younger. So I also wasn't buying the fact that she's got this decades long career as an assassin to build a reputation.
Do you ever watch, you've probably seen it, where Steven Seagal is showing like the real life footage of him fighting when he's fighting whatever, in a stage show or whatever, and they come running up to him and he flips them with his hand, flip. You see those?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. That's what I felt like it was with her. I was like, how come she's able to just, every guy that she beats up, she's able to just grab and flip, grab. And speaking of which, that's actually one of the other big flaws in this film. Huge flaw, besides the CGI blood, the CGI fire, the CGI explosions, CGI drones, is they didn't even try to make it. The good guys couldn't get hit by bullets. They would just stand.
There was that whole thing where when the drone was dropping all that shit.
Okay. Don't even start with the drone. I'm just talking about the firefight that Scott Eastwood had with the hole in the wall. He's He's just like shooting bad guys.
Oh yeah, even the first firefight when he disarms the guy, it's the whole group of people, right?
Mm-hmm.
That took me out of the movie.
The hole in the wall was the most egregious one because after he runs out of ammo, he just exits the hole.
He walks to the guy. He just walks up to the punches him.
That was so bad.
When I play shooter games or video games, I sometimes use cheats because I just don't have time to grind. I just want to play and turn off my brain. So I'll use invincible codes. I felt Scott Eastwood's character, somebody put the invincible code on him. He was just able to walk around unfazed by explosions, gunfire.
Bad when he walked out of that hole and he just walked up to the first guy. They're all having machine guns. They're firing on him.
You were talking about all the CGI, but overall, this movie, it did not look like a good movie. Budgets are going to be at play here. You can shoot films on digital and have it look fine. You're doing a Michael Mann podcast right now. His last 4 or 5 films have been shot on digital. So we know what the medium's capable of, but this looked like a sci-fi show, the Sci-Fi Channel. It just hurt. Like, I'm not a film snob by any stretch, but it hurt my eyes to look at this image. It with just like the digital sheen, whatever weird color grading they did to make it look, it just didn't look good. I don't know how filmmakers like this dude, Polish or whatever his name is, I don't know how he looks at that and signs off on it and says, yeah, this looks great. There's kids making stuff in their bedroom for YouTube that looks better than this.
Of course. It just goes to show you that special effects. A lot of people say, "Oh, CGI special effects is such a da 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 da," but if it's
how
done
you use
well,
them.
then it's
Yeah.
done well. It just goes to show you that even though they're using CGI and special effects, it's done poorly. I would rather that they use special effects, but it looks good. I can't believe that people with their Apple iPads or whatever can't come up with. I know they can. People, like you're saying, people will literally, for fun as a hobby, will enhance like old Star Trek films or Star Wars. I've seen them do like Star Wars footage and make their own CGI like enhancements with their own.
Did you see that dude that took the Darth Vader fight with Obi-Wan from the first Star Wars movie?
And
he modernized it. Like
terrific.
That was some dude at his house. Like
exactly. He had his own. What did it cost him?
Whatever time he spent working on it. I'm sure he's got the same software. That software costs money, but even an iPhone now, you can put explosions in iPhones.
But I noticed every gunshot, every gun was CGI suppression fire. Did you catch that?
Oh yeah,
old CGI.
Which is fine, Ryan, because on a movie this caliber, you don't want anybody firing even fake bullets.
One accident is too many accidents.
Yeah.
I agree, but that's what makes me. I can't wait to cover Heat on our Michael Mann journey, and because I know it's the big scene that everyone talks about, but there's a reason why it's so effective because it feels like you're watching.
That whole scene in Heat is the sound design.
Yes,
because Mann insisted on having it sound like real M50s or whatever they were firing, or whatever guns they were. But yeah, the other thing though, this gets back to the blood spatter too, Ryan. It's like they had the same gun flash. Like they didn't even create like 3 different ones that
they just cut and paste over top of
the same one though.
And every gun.
Yeah.
Handgun, machine gun, grenade launcher, drone.
Okay, the drones, guys. Whoever bought those models, return to sender. There is no drone that I'm aware of that misses.
Yeah.
I can't believe how much the drone missed. The inaccuracy is unreal. And then on top of that, I love how when the drone fired missiles, the explosion that the drone screen showed was a yellow, like it was a colorized version of an explosion. Yeah. It shows like the night vision of the footage of the drone, but when the explosion hits, it was like yellow fire. No, I've seen drone hits, and 2 things. In all reality, drones do not miss. And when they hit, it levels a radius. There's no the radius alone. So even if it missed the Jeep the way it was missing the Jeep, the radius like damage would destroy the Jeep. There's just no way anyone's walking out of that.
The main boss man, when he ordered the drone strike, he said something like laying waste to the whole place. I was under the impression that they would drop fucking bombs.
They made it sound like it's going to be Apocalypse Now napalming.
Yeah, exactly. And they come out with these machine guns that do drones fire machine guns or don't they do? Yeah. Oh, okay.
Do they fire them like that, like vertically down, or would it be like drone to drone combat?
Oh, I would assume I was expecting napalm because he even said hit them with everything and whatever it costs. Yeah. We don't want the credit for and then they send out 2 drones that have terrible aim. Yeah. Anyways, but.
I just want to make one more comment about the fight scenes. Way back to the fight scenes, they hide the shitty hand-to-hand combat training with that shaky cam that they do. I guess that's the way they film fight scenes now. It really bugged me in that one Jason Statham movie that we watched, the one that was written by Stallone.
Okay, yeah, Homefront.
Homefront, yeah. Because him and Frank Grillo, who are accomplished fighters, they covered up their fight with that shaky cam shit. But you do that to cover up people that can't fight, which was very evident in this movie. Pretty much everybody.
Again, it goes to show you the difference between the John Wick franchise and Keanu Reeves, who I think is an adorable, wonderful human, is a horrible actor. I think he's a great guy. I got nothing bad to say about him, other than the fact that I don't think he's a very good actor. I've seen him in a lot of movies. He's just not good at acting, but he's such a nice guy that that's his pass. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
He trained his ass off for those John Wick films. And that's the difference is what you see on film is months of I don't think anyone in this film trained.
Yeah. The John Wick movies, the dude that directed that was a stunt coordinator who was directing his first film. So if you can't get the stunts right, then
fair enough. Oh yeah. I unironically, like, I do enjoy the John Wick films, and it made me even read a little bit more, again, because of his work ethic alone in those films.
Yeah, but you know what my problem with the John Wick movies are?
Sure.
It created this problem where Keanu Reeves could not look different in any movie he made while those were being made. He had to have long hair and a beard. Because he wasn't going to grow a long hair and a beard again to make John Wick movies. So they're like, oh, if you're going to hire Keanu Reeves for a movie, he's going to have long hair and a beard. He's going to look like John Wick.
Yeah, it's just John Wick. There's no more Keanu Reeves credit. It's John Wick.
Yeah.
Stars in whatever that creepy stalker movie he was in or whatever.
Oh, yeah. But that is the same problem was like with Bruce Willis when they made whatever the last two Die Hard movies. I'm like, put a toupee on, man. Come on. John McClane is supposed to be like a middle-aged balding guy. And that was the problem with those. It was like, oh, it's just Bruce Willis.
That's the problem with the last Rambo film. I guarantee you, had they gave Rambo this proper long hair with a bandana, the IMDb rating would have gone up 2 to 3 points. Because one of the biggest complaints was, are we just watching a Stallone Home Alone action film? But you make him look like Rambo, then he's Rambo. That's half the film. It's look like the character. It's like having a Batman movie, but the guy never wears the suit.
Yeah, they did it in 4. He looked silly with long hair as an old man, but
nobody yelled at Sly to have a haircut in part 4.
You know what? Hot take here. I think I would rather watch Alarum again than watch Last Blood.
Oh, wow. Ooh. Wow, you're really stated a lot of films you'd rather watch. Okay, so let's get to Scott Eastwood. Scott Eastwood, top billed over Sly on this film. Boy, first off, there were a couple scenes and angles where it looked like a CGI de-aged Clint. Am I the only one here?
You can tell he's his dad's son. Absolutely.
Like, right here, in this part of his eyes and the wrinkles and the squint, there was a couple scenes where I was like, that's a young Clint. Now,
the older he gets, the more he resembles Clint.
And he's not even that old. He's 39 right now.
Mm-hmm.
So kind of long in the tooth to really get a burgeoning career, because by the time his dad was that age, he'd already done who knows how many westerns.
You don't have to pussyfoot around it. The only reason anybody's talking about Scott Eastwood is because his dad's Clint Eastwood.
Okay. He's got the looks. He's a good-looking kid, or kid to me, but he's a good-looking guy. He's been in a decent amount of films. He's got films coming up. I guess what I would like to see, if he hasn't done it already, I would like to see him do a Western. Like, why not?
Ryan, you're not going to see a big budget Western for a long time, especially after Kevin Costner sunk all his own money into Horizon and it was ignored.
I'm so sad about that. I haven't even seen the films because I almost don't want to start the journey that won't end, because I think he meant to make 4 chapters and I think 2 of them were done, but parts 3 and 4 will never be done. So do I start watching the canceled TV series? Maybe it has to be a TV show, because TV Westerns are big right now. Still. The biggest thing with Scott Eastwood here was he looked really a lot like his dad. It threw me off a couple times. Good looking guy. But you know how Mike Coulter took the role and had fun with it? You could tell he just had fun with it. Scott Eastwood, I think, was trying to have fun with it too, and I think he was trying to not dial it. Like, you could tell. I guess that's the problem. You could tell that he was not trying to dial in the performance. Thus, he performed. Thus, I don't think he's a very good actor. Does that make sense? What I'm saying?
Yeah. Uh-huh.
Okay. All right. But maybe I have to see him in more stuff. Have you seen him in anything? Are you familiar with his filmography, or
roll off some movies he's been in?
The only thing I've seen him in was this fucking foofy romance movie about him being a bull rider. My wife likes the movie. She made me watch it. It was whatever. He might be more suited for stuff like that than action.
He was in Wrath of Man with him, which I have yet to see. He was in Pacific Rim Uprising. I'm trying to think of the big name movies. He was in The Fate of the Furious, Suicide Squad. Those are big names.
I don't remember.
But I don't think he had big roles.
Yeah.
He was in Texas Chainsaw 3D in 2013. He was in Invictus. Gran Torino.
That was his dad's movie. Wasn't Invictus his dad's movie?
Yeah,
it was a soccer movie, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Gran Torino
Rugby.
Yeah.
He was in Flags of Our Fathers.
Yeah, that's another Clint movie.
Yeah.
Nepo baby.
Yeah, no, I mean,
And yeah, so he's got 3 stuff coming out.
But where's the Bull Rider movie? What's
it called?
The Bull Rider movie? The title has to give away what.
I'm trying. The Outpost. No, that's a war movie.
No,
Overdrive, Live by Night, Snowden. I'm trying to. The Longest Ride, maybe. The Longest Ride.
Yeah. That one.
It's a American romantic drama film directed by
2 hours and 20 minutes. Goodness.
Holy smokes.
Oof. And it felt every second of it.
The longest movie.
The longest movie.
He had the starring role in it. Yeah, he had the top bill. Lolita Davidovich. She's in it. Britt Robertson played his love interest. So there you go. I don't know who that is.
Alan Alda's in it, I think.
Yeah, I saw him in the little thumbnail.
Yeah, he's my least favorite character on MASH. Little do-goody. All right. Okay. Now, yeah. So Scotty Swift, sure, he was shown up by his wife, quite frankly, and that's the thing is like really the actress that played his wife, and she got a lot of the kick-ass. For whatever reason, they wanted to make her the kick-ass star of the movie. She had all the hand-to-hand combat.
That tracks for a movie made in the last 5 years. There's always been a focus on trying to create the next big female badass.
Finally, guys, the reason why we do this podcast, the star of this movie, the star power, I should say, of this film. And I thought for sure he would have 2 lines or 3 lines a la Back Trace,
Yeah, one day shooting.
Armor was a 1-day shooting.
Yeah.
No, he was on this set for a while.
Yeah.
But the one thing I wanted to ask you guys, is he bringing his own clothes to the set? Because I swear,
his own cigars for sure.
I swear that outfit, I've seen that in the other movies we've talked about.
Oh, probably.
Like the long sleeve button up shirt with the t-shirt under it. Did he walk off the street and be like, "Okay, let's shoot"?
I think so.
I will say this though, he looked good in this movie. I don't know what his routine is, but his eyebrows. I don't know if he was in between whatever treatments he does or whatever, or pulls, but I thought he looked good. But we were talking offline in the Last of the Action Heroes chat today, actually, about my big problem with a lot of these Sly movies now is, so he plays a government contractor of some kind.
Yeah, he's playing another gray area character. This is another,
But the thing about it is, and Doug can speak to this probably, who's hiring a guy pushing 80 to do this kind of work?
I mention it every time.
I understand at this point, even if Sly is playing 15 years younger, it's still a guy who's 65 years old. Like,
still too old. It's insane. Every time we see one of these movies, I say there's no way that this guy is still doing this at his age.
He's actually fighting with heavy artillery machine guns. Just walking like it's a 78-year-old man. I mean, it's impressive, but you could tell the gun that he was holding was made out of plastic.
Yeah, he was swinging around way too easy.
It wasn't metal. Like it was a prop made out of plastic prop.
This movie would be fine and harmless, but as soon as you attach Stallone to it, and I hate to say this, but between the last, 4 or 5 movies, he's seriously damaging his legacy. Bruce Willis had a fucking excuse. He was trying to get as much shit done as he could while he still could to provide for his family. But Sly, it's like, why? I understand he's got his daughters that are used to a certain kind of lifestyle or whatever. But I watched this and it's legacy hurting type of stuff, in my opinion.
I thought the same thing watching this. This is the same guy that gave us Rocky. It's weird. It's weird.
Not even the same guy that gave us Rocky, but even the same guy that gave us The Specialist. And The Specialist isn't a great movie by any stretch, but it's almost if you saw like Jimmy Page put out an album with a subpar garage rock band. You reach a certain level as a professional where things are beneath you. And the thing that's sad about it is Sly's even referenced this in his own fucking movies, where he references that Father Time's undefeated, but he still acts like he can beat him.
I like how his character has this. He's a legend,
Yeah.
Oh, let's call in Chester. Oh, we can't call in Chester. He's too messy.
But was he like? Because it seemed like he was more about just injecting people with this poison.
What was the vaccinating everybody in this film? He's going around giving everyone the COVID shot.
I mean, that was the only thing that kind of spoke to his age. He knows he can't go hand to hand with people anymore, so he's going to have to be sneaky.
It's weird. He's sticking needles in his jacket pocket. He just pulls out I'm going to stab you. I'm actually watching Dexter right now with my wife. We're finally on New Blood. And we finished the original series. We're on the reboot, which we're loving very much. And it reminded me of Dexter with his horse tranquilizer or whatever. Every time he gets people, this is like Dexter in 30 years. It was a weird turn of events. He basically poisons people. Okay, so Sly's character poisons the helicopter pilot.
He somehow asks him if he's married, right?
He goes, do you have a family, kids? Because he only wants to kill not a father or a husband. He's killing a bachelor.
But he also wants to test it out.
Why not just some bum on the street, some fentanyl addict on the street? Why does he have
or just trust that it's going to work?
I know the worst thing that can happen is it doesn't work and he's still walking around.
I actually thought until he pulled the syringe out, I was like, is this going to be another scene where like the passenger kills the pilot? Who are these maniacs that are killing pilots of aircrafts they're flying in?
One helicopter pilot was killed. 2 airplane pilots were killed. So the writer of this film does not like pilots. Why did the helicopter pilot die outside of Sly's apartment?
That's how long it took for the...
But why did he go to the apartment?
Yeah, why was he in Sly's apartment in the first place?
Was that a hotel or a hostel or something?
Like, that's where he was hanging out, it seemed like. That was his room. He had to go freshen up in the hotel room,
I thought maybe the pilot had a room of his own.
But it shows him stumbling out of the building and Sly watching him die in the middle of the street. And then people just standing around talking about the body. No ambulance. There's, body in the street. And it was almost like the death of the helicopter pilot distracted the public from seeing him carry his gun to the store across the street. Did you catch that too? That whole scene was very odd.
And what did he go to the store for? Maybe I was watching it on too fast a speed at that point. But he goes in the store, he goes behind the register, and then he goes out. Did he take anything? What was the purpose of that?
So I feel like the killing of the helicopter pilot did 2 things. Tested his drug to see how fast it would kill. Why it was done there, I'm not sure. We don't see him inject the pilot, so we don't know exactly when the injection took place. Pilot stumbles out of the building, dies in the middle of the street. And with him in the middle of the street, he has the public around him acting as a distraction for Sly's character to sneak into the store.
I also don't understand because the guy flying the helicopter and he's just like, ow. And then Sly's like, yeah, you got to come with me now for the next hour. I got to monitor you.
That's what I mean. He got pricked with the needle. You're right. Hey, man, what the hell?
Yeah. And then did he kidnap him? Did he go with Sly willingly?
And so how did Scott Eastwood's character switch the drug from the needle? I know it was explained at the end of the film. So when Sly's character, spoiler, at the end of the film is dying with the poison switch that Scott Eastwood's character, I actually thought, oh, wow. Sly's gonna die.
Yeah.
Okay. Did you actually think just for a second? Wow, they're actually.
I thought he was gonna die on screen. Yeah, like he never does.
When's the last time he died on screen? Fist?
Shit, you might be right. Yeah.
When's his last death on screen?
I thought we talked about this.
I know Fist, he got shot in the stairwell, and he hated that. He to this day wished that ever had.
You're making a John Gotti, a Jimmy Hoffa inspired movie, and you don't want to get Jimmy Hoffa. I was wondering, he made it through Expendables 4 too, right? That was
that's right. We thought he died. Yeah. No, he's back. He's alive. It was spoiler alert. The last film I think he was properly killed in was Fist.
That's hilarious.
Yeah, I didn't think he was going to die at the end of this one. We talked about an antidote. But the other funny thing is we talk about shitty writing, and this is where I get mad at Sly again. So he goes to load up his needle in the bathroom. He tells Scott Eastwood he's going to freshen up, which is like the kind of shit you say after you get home from dinner with your girlfriend or wife. I'm going to go freshen up. So props to Scott Eastwood's character for realizing he was up to something. So he comes out of the bathroom. Scott Eastwood's got the gun on him. And then I guess he takes the syringe away, and then they go to the window together, and Scott Eastwood still got the gun in his face, and he goes, "Get that gun out of my face. I'm trying to help you." Are you? You literally just showed that you were gonna attempt to kill him.
Mhm.
The writing was just like,
the writing was bad, but I will give a little bit. That's what I mean. I feel like even Sly showed up a little bit. I think he was trying to give a little bit of character to the character, just a little
but it has
bit.
to make sense.
It does have to
He
make
could have
sense.
even said, I know I just tried to kill you, but at least I'm trying to help you, or something like it.
It was an odd film, odd all around. See, the thing is, again, I think there's a part of the crew, the director, and even the actors that thought, man, we might be making a film here. We might have a movie here. And that's what makes it really bad. So it's not Armor bad. Armor, you knew, one day shoot, like slides there for one day. Okay, so no one's thinking we're making a film. This one, I feel like they were making a film, and it took a couple months to make too. For a small independent film, it was like February to May, so it wasn't just a weekend thing, right? So they were trying to make a film here, which is, in a weird way, what makes it even kind of sadder that it's just not a very good film.
Just the simple fact that they left the ending open for a sequel, they thought they had something.
Remember, Sly gets the antidote from Scott Eastwood's character. I'll join your team. I need you on my team. So the idea that there's going to be more adventures with these three, right?
Yeah, and
But
they're
I'm thinking
going
to
to
myself,
take down.
83? Come on.
They're going to take down the boss of the deep state. It's, oh my God, I can't fathom a part two.
Okay. So what's your recommendation? We didn't recommend Armor. We didn't recommend Backtrace, if I remember correctly. Are you actually legitimately going to recommend this film to a Sly fan?
I would, in the fact, but I would have to present it like this. You have to see this piece of shit. You know, it's not like this is great art done by Sly. This is bottom of the barrel. He's not the worst part of a terrible movie. He's a saving grace, if anything.
The worst part of the film was the special effects, the poorly aimed drones, and Willa Fitzgerald's character just being like the female John Wick, and there's no reason why she should be that badass. Two of her would have taken on an army. That's how good she was. That's how good she was.
This was a $5.99 rental, so I cannot recommend you spending $6 on this. Go get a burrito at Taco Bell is going to be a better use of your $6. My analogy earlier in the episode, 2 a.m. on a Saturday when you can't sleep, and this is on Netflix, which you're already paying a subscription for, or Tubi even.
Right.
Yeah, it might be worth a watch, but I would not recommend anybody spend hard-earned money to watch this movie and support this movie and acknowledge this movie.
So the IMDb rating on this is lower than Armor.
3.7, right?
Wow. Alarum is 3.3 from user ratings. And
how many does it say?
Armor was 3.6, by the way.
Yeah.
2,500 people. That's a good draw of the public. 3.3 for Armor. We had 3.6. For all intents and purposes, that's a good pool of people for both films.
So more people rated Armor, though. So here's the thing. Yeah, so here's the thing, Ryan. Most people watched Armor and said, I'm not getting fooled again. So less people watched Alarum, and those same people rated it. Anytime you're below 4, what did you say? It's 3.6 versus 3.7 or something?
Alarum is 3.3.
Yeah. And then Armor's 3.7?
3.6, yeah.
You're under 4 at that point. If you're going to a restaurant, all right, there's 2 restaurant choices, and they're both shitty restaurants. Does it really matter which one you choose? It's going to be which kind of food you like. Do I want to go to a shitty pizza joint or a shitty Chinese joint? You know they're both going to be shitty.
Yeah, it's sad.
It's sad. Armor should have been a career ender for most people. That movie should have ended careers.
I just don't think we should expect anything good from Sly from here on out.
Is this it, though? Is Sly doing these films without the brain problem that Bruce has? Is that what
Here's the thing that frustrates me is because I don't know if it's Sly not wanting to give himself to a real filmmaker. And I almost feel like Creed 1 and Creed 2 were the last movies he did that. And we know how he feels about those movies now. But if you watch Creed, he really trusted Ryan Coogler to make his movie. He collaborated with Coogler, of course, but he let Coogler make his film. And I almost wonder if it's a point now where he doesn't want to give any of that control anymore. or he just doesn't have the energy to give that control anymore, or doesn't want to be bothered by a director that's actually going to hold him accountable.
I would not recommend this film. I would only recommend this film to people like us saying yes for a Stallone completist, just so you can have an opinion about this film. By all means, watch it. But it's a sad ending, not end to his legacy. He apparently has 6 films in production, including The Tulsa King for number 7. So we do know The Tulsa King is coming out. I think it was renewed for seasons 3 and 4, by the way. And that's a great show, highly rated. And it's a good show. The same Sly that recognizes a good project, and he does Instagram videos and posts of him writing Tulsa King. I don't know if you've seen that, because he's excited by it. Look at me, I'm writing my character notes for Tulsa King. But why does that same person who recognizes, oh, I've got something good here with Tulsa King, is it just for the paycheck? Is that all it is? I mean, is this him buying the mansion like Michael Caine did for
That's the only argument you can make.
But how much money are they really giving him?
He's got $500 million. I don't know.
That's what I mean. How much are they paying? I mean, I don't know what the budget on this film is, but they can't be giving him a lot of money. This is shit that like his agent shouldn't even approach him with. Yeah. You should trust your agent enough to be like, when you bring me a script or an offer, it should be legitimate. The whole thing is baffling to me. How does an agent see this and think it's good for his client?
I'm not sure. He can't. I'm not sure.
Yeah.
Apparently, there is a film coming out called I Am Rocky, or I Was Rocky. You hear about this?
No.
Oh, is this like a docudrama?
Yeah.
About the making of Rocky?
Yes.
Is he narrating it, or?
I don't think he's involved.
Okay.
Yeah. So it's kind of like the musical documentaries that we get with Elton John and Freddie Mercury. I think this is the version of that for Sly, about his making of the script and the film.
Please tell me Erwin Winkler's producing it. Please tell me.
I was thinking that too.
Because it's going to make for some great Instagram rage posts from Sly.
Oh, that might push him over the edge.
I don't know how much of that story is true. Apparently, he was always the choice for Rocky. According to some of the producers that were in that room, he was never not the choice. It was a matter of working out the paperwork. He was never told no for Rocky. Apparently, he was always going to get the role.
If you ever listen to Jimmy Gambino's rant,
I think Jimmy's onto something. I don't think it's.
I think so too.
There's a point where things seem like sour grapes, but then also doesn't mean that there can't be truth to it as well.
Where there's smoke, there's fire.
I seen this on the internet. I swear it was like a scanned thing or some sort of affidavit from the people in the know.
But the other thing is, it doesn't discount what he did.
That's why
by any stretch, it makes it a cool story. It creates the narrative that he's sort of defined his whole career by, but it doesn't discount what he did. It's still an amazing accomplishment.
You know, he wrote the script, started in the great film, guerrilla style film. Oh, that's verified. But for some reason, I think that's Sly. I think he can't help himself. I don't know what it is. Like you're saying, he defies his aging, and I think he defines his own origin story. I think he's a storyteller.
He's a storyteller, yeah.
He's a storyteller. And it's not causing anyone any harm.
No, that's what I mean.
No one's hurt by this. But one of my favorite films of all time, as you guys know, is Young Guns. And when Charlie Sheen's character is talking to Billy the Kid, played by Emilio Estevez, he goes, you know, you're starting to believe what they're writing about you in the papers. Like, you're starting to believe your own headlines. So they were telling lies or made up or romanticized and fantasized stories about Billy the Kid. And Billy the Kid became the newspaper articles. So he started believing his own headlines. That wasn't who he was. I think Sly, to some degree, has created his own headlines. I think if you were to hook him up to a lie detector test, he'd pass.
Absolutely. This is 40 plus years ago at this point, Ryan. 40 plus years removed from being that young, hungry person.
Yeah.
Sly can't relate to that person anymore. I think this happens to anybody that achieves great, great wealth. Sly cannot remember what it's like to skip a meal, not because you want to, but because you can't fucking afford to. And he was that person at one point, but I think people create those stories in their head to make their achievement that much greater, and that anybody can do it, because a lot of celebrities love feeding this fucking illusion to people that if you just put your head down, roll your sleeves up and work really hard, you can be like me one day. It's not fucking true. It's not. It happens, but it's the exception to the rule. Oh. Like you said, it's a good story, and it gives people hope, and it creates a cool legend.
Of the 6 movies that are in pre-production, one does have a date next to it, so that's the one we'll go with next. According to this one, it is a 2025 release. It's in pre-production called The Epiphany. Remember we talked about this one? Let me remind you. It's a Philadelphia detective.
Detective. Jesus.
A 79-year-old fucking detective.
Sorry, I got the first 3 words out.
Even if we said it's 15 years, 64-year-old detective.
Sorry, he isn't retired. A Philadelphia detective is forced to deal with his unsettled past with the Catholic Church when he investigates a serial killer who is targeting its members who are linked to a local scandal.
Give me a break. A guy with a 60-year career.
He joined when he was 20.
You know what's the worst part about this is he's got 7 things in development. None of them are his Arthur Allan Poe movie.
Oh, Edgar Allan Poe.
Yeah, I'm sorry, Edgar Allan Poe. There's legitimate scripts that Sly has been holding on to for decades. He was also going to make a movie about Biggie and Tupac. Sly had some great stuff on the burner that's just not there anymore. That's AI generated, right?
That's on IMDb.
I'm counting the fingers to make sure that. How do you see this as Sylvester Stallone and say that's the kind of shit I would do? Ryan, I think our podcast art is better than this. The podcast art you've created, the podcast art I've created. This looks like a shitty book you see on Amazon.
Yeah, it does.
Like a 99-cent book on Kindle.
The director of this film, he directed the paranormal film called Next of Kin. That was one of his. I don't know if you saw that one.
The Patrick Swayze film from the...
He also directed Liam Hemsworth and Russell Crowe. There you go. In the movie
Russell Crowe is... What's the name? Oh, okay. No, I mean, Russell Crowe you can't take seriously anymore. He's still capable of doing great work, but...
Oh, man.
Russell Crowe can't be trusted anymore. He's like Nick Cage. He'll do those shitty movies and he'll turn in a great performance in a great movie. But yeah, he can't be trusted anymore. But see, the thing is, you remove that Tulsa King, there's nothing in the pipeline that is for Nicolas Cage. He was doing all those shitty movies and then he did Pig. There's no Pig on Stallone's horizon.
No, the Epiphany is. We'll see.
Not with that artwork.
Like teaser. That's just the teaser artwork. That's just teaser.
I can't wait.
Doug, ask your 14-year-old to make a movie poster, and I bet you he can make a better poster.
Yeah.
With how talented kids are today with computers and graphics and things like that.
Yeah.
So for our audio listeners, it's just a black and white photo of a gun being held by a strong hand. We're led to believe it might be Stallone's, but it's not. It says The Epiphany, starring Sylvester Stallone. Very basic, generic font art.
But then you've got 3 different fonts.
Who's Stallone's character shooting here? The Catholic Church.
Oh, God.
Based on the summary, wouldn't you even maybe have a cross wrapped around his wrist on a chain, maybe? Or rosary beads?
Rosary, yeah.
Or incorporate a cross somehow?
Yeah.
It's the low effort shit that bothers me. Because Sly, he wasn't always a low effort guy.
No.
I can't wait to review it. So again, before we close here, we got The Epiphany. Then we have Hunter still in production, Little America, Samaritan 2, Scavenger Hunt, and Never Too Old to Die. Looking forward.
Ryan, you're just putting off Avenging Angelo. I know it. You're looking forward to all these in production.
Oh no,
films.
there's another one here. What is this? Who's doing this on IMDb? Who is making these posters? What is this, guys? Okay, this is the Never Too Old to Die photo. Who's commissioning?
Are these fan photos, maybe?
Fan posters? What is that?
I think I'm having a stroke.
It says Never Too Old to Die, but it looks like almost like 007.
Yeah, the too old, you can't even...
No. And then what's it say under Stallone?
Adrian Entertainment. Is that a real company?
Oh, give me a break.
I think these might be like fan uploaded posters.
Okay.
Hopefully... Because isn't his film company called Balboa Productions?
Yeah, that's not even his company. Who's doing this? Are you allowed to do that? Or is somebody allowed to arbitrarily add pictures to IMDb?
Again, nobody cares. Like Sly, like he doesn't care about protecting his IP even. It's mind-boggling to me.
All right, guys, this has been an absolutely fun experience. I just love hanging out with you guys talking.
I do too, and I feel bad. I feel bad because people might listen to this and say, "Why do you guys bother doing this stuff you're going to shit on?"
We're not trying to.
I know.
Open mind.
One of the things about being a fan of anything is not having blind loyalty and calling out the shit when it's shit. And that's the most painful thing about this is because we've constantly, this is what, 3 episodes in a row now, maybe, where we've talked about something that's just fucking atrocious.
Agreed. Doug.
Maybe Epiphany will be good.
Maybe Epiphany will be good. It might be his end of days.
At this rate, we're never going to get to Kitty and Studs.
We will when Sly dies and his films end. Like eventually, his films will have to end. We'll get to it. We'll live longer than Sly does. I like to hope so.
Ryan, we're on the cusp of AI. There might be a fucking AI generated Sly that they put in the computer.
Oh my god!
And you can just virtually skin actors.
Yeah, you're right. We'll stand by for that.
And I'm sure Sly's daughters are never going to let him die.
That's true. Doug, do you have anything to plug before you go?
The Frank Stallone podcast is ripping and roaring, man. Love that thing.
Yeah, so check out me and Doug. We cover Sly's brother, Frank Stallone. Just Google the Frank Stallone podcast. It is the only Frank Stallone podcast out there, so it should be very easy to find. It's a lot of fun. We basically just review and react to Frank's Instagram videos, and we just try to figure out who is this guy. It's called Frank Stallone. Who is this guy? I almost forgot the title of the show.
Still trying to find out.
Yeah, we're still trying to find out. Okay.
I got to sign off, though, guys. Yeah. I'll talk to you later.
All right, take care, Doug. We'll see you soon.
You got it.
Most people know you can hear my show, The GOAT, a Brian De Palma fan podcast, as part of the Director's Chair Network. And actually, I'm overdue for new episodes because my computer stopped working.
Oh, no.
So I went a couple weeks without a computer, which you can do in 2025 when you've got a phone on your hip. But I finally got a new computer and we'll be putting out fresh new episodes, including some guest episodes of The GOAT, a Brian De Palma fan podcast. But if you haven't already, look up the Director's Chair Network, where you're going to get all of Ryan's Zwix Flicks season. And now you're covering the Michael Mann movies. You'll get GOAT episodes that we're posting.
And Katie.
And Katie with her John Hughes. I think Uncle Buck just came out.
Yeah, so Uncle Buck and the Breakfast Club is on the network now. And we thank Katie for joining. It's a temporary joining. She wanted to make sure I said that it's just because she's covering John Hughes. Maybe she'll do
it might not be a director next time.
Yeah, but one of the things we are going to do on the Director's Chair Network is we're going to do films from, I think we talked about it, actors or actresses who aren't necessarily known to be directors, but they've directed a film. I find that kind of interesting when this one, like Dan Aykroyd has directed one film, for example. I find that
Nothing But Trouble, right? Is it Nothing But Trouble?
I think so, exactly. So I think it'd be fun to investigate a season of actors turned directors, but then it didn't really pan out type thing. All right.
Yeah.
Thanks, Craig. Thanks, Doug. Doug had to go off, and just for what do we call it? Just for behind the curtain here, Doug is about to have another baby. So
exciting. Yeah. But again, to get a little serious as we end this podcast, I do want to say that you're listening to 3 people that are fans of and really admire Sylvester Stallone. We wouldn't do a podcast about the guy if we didn't believe that he was a great contributor to the history of Hollywood.
Yeah.
And it's getting harder and harder to remember why we admire Sly so much, but we do.
We do.
Yeah.
And I'm looking forward to our next episode. It will either be one of his newer releases, if it takes us that long to get another one out, or it'll be, we've talked about, I think Shade was the one we were rolling around.
Yeah. I can't wait to talk about Shade, man.
So I think that might be our next one, because I don't think he's going to have a new theatrical release until probably end of year. All right.
Yeah. Awesome.
Thanks, everyone.
Take care.